and then ready to go. So, anyways, see you guys soon. Just looking back, I think you're never really going to be done with the challenges. There's always going to be stuff rolling in. Some years, it's going to be every Monday that something new is going to come your way. The biggest piece of advice that I could give anybody would be to not allow that big thing cause you to stay still. You've always got to keep moving, even if it's a big problem. You've got to just keep moving, see what you can do to adapt, go around, go over top of, figure out a way to get it done. Well, the first marathon that I ever did was back in early 2000s. That experience for me was just something that I didn't know too many people did as far as in my circle. So trying to explain it to family, they didn't really understand what it was, but they knew that it was something big. I ended up getting a 4:23 on that race, which then sparked interest in shooting for faster paces in the future and just setting goals for being able to achieve a better race each time. After that marathon in 2003, I was excited. I was ready to set new goals and sign up for more races. Throughout that time period, I was still in the military. So I was still traveling quite a bit, getting deployed a lot. I was still working out pretty aggressive. Running was always there as far as my training. I did incorporate weights during that time. So I said, hey, I might as well train for more races. I had set out my next race to be in Manitoba, Canada. That race was at the close to the end of my military. It was right before getting out. I encountered a couple things, a lot of deployments, relationship problems. I was letting that get in the way. And there's times where, you can tough through those things, where I let that get the best of me. Not that it was an excuse, but it was something there as a barrier, not allowing me to maybe muster up the energy to get the training that I needed in. And more of like myself, I was like, you know what? You're tough, you can do this marathon again. And I was more of in a phase of masking what was actually getting done and just saying, you know what, you're tough, you can still go out there and do this marathon. So during that training block, numerous runs were missed. I didn't train, every day like I was training previously in the first marathon. So I definitely had some setbacks in that training. Getting out there, it was a complete disaster. I got out there, didn't plan, I didn't even have really an intention set for that race. I just got out there and said, okay, I just want to survive and finish. So after that race, I ended up somewhere in 5 hours and like 17 minutes, somewhere around there. Was in pain for about 2 weeks after that race and started to get a little bit discouraged about, where this marathon running was going to go. So after that race, say Manitoba, I took a little break from the running for a little bit. I moved back to Florida and started business. So we had a purpose this race, and we went out there. We trained We had runs, we had training blocks. Once again, something was missing in the training. We went out there, we suffered again. That one took us over 5 hours and 30 minutes to complete. We finished, and again, it's not always about times with races, but it did make us feel defeated afterwards, because that race, I remember me and Marco looking at each other, and whether it was me complaining that I was in pain, we were trading back and forth. He was in pain, and I was like, oh, come on, bro, let's go, let's keep moving. And then it would flip, and then I'd be in pain. And then he'd be saying, come on, bro, let's finish this race. So it wasn't, it was, now looking at it, like then when I finished, I was like a little upset and felt defeated. But looking at it now, it's like, it was something great that we finished together. We finished it, but man, it was definitely, wasn't in the direction that we thought it was gonna be. After we got done with that marathon, it was the phase of building the business. We spent time developing the business on the computer all the time. That time turned from days to weeks to months to years of nonstop building the business. We tried our best to maintain fitness, and we did to a level that we could still guide clients, but it was a decline, a slow decline every year, year after year. The weight for myself, I started to see weight gain. I started to see less motivation with getting off of work and wanting to work out, or wanting to spend time on the weekends to, work out. It turned into, my brother would come to me and be like, hey, let's get a workout in. And I'd be like, nah, good, I'll get it later. But then later would never happen. Then it turned into bad eating. They just kept piling on. So I went through, a time of just kind of not really taking care of myself. It was more of just taking care of the clients. I stepped on the scale and I was like, where the hell did that come from? It was unrecognizable. I remember there was this one time, and this was several years later, I just started getting back into running, and we had started the run group. It was just when the run group had just started in 2019. And I was running to work, and I had just got the fire back for running. And I'm running downtown, and I look in the reflection in the building. I can see the glass, and I see myself. And I'm in your head, you always think you're this other person, like you're like this badass, like you're this superhero. And I look, I'm like, it's unrecognizable. Like I almost didn't want to look at the reflection. So that right there was like, okay, that was a point where I was like, we gotta get it together. Another motivator too was, how do my clients see me? Do my clients see me fit? And I had to really change the way that I was presenting myself at work and representing our company. That was important from the start, our brand, and I needed to regain confidence and regain almost, not that I had lost it from the clients, but just that respect back as far as myself being in tip-top shape. So yeah, we did that half marathon in Savannah, and was great, felt good out there. And that led the way into us deciding, hey, we're gonna do a couple more races, but we're gonna gear up for a marathon. I had heard about this race in California. My wife loves California. So I selected CIM, my first marathon coming back, and Marco had selected London. Gearing up for that, Marco's training block had to start before mine. He was running in October, and my race wasn't going to be until December. The strategies that we were using for this race, we collaborated, we discussed them, and we helped each other. He was there to motivate me on mornings I didn't want to make it. On the mornings that maybe he didn't want to make it, I would help him get through it, because this was something that we had never done before. This type of training was designed to be a cumulative fatigue over the week to build up for the marathon. It was exhausting, and it was the first time of actually trying this method out. But the method that we used, over time we started to see, oh man, I feel rested this week, and you know what? I'm feeling some of this speed coming to me. I feel strong. I'm not getting as sore. And we just trusted in the process. There was questions that came up during the training plan, but my brother, trusted that I was doing my research, and I knew that he had knowledge too, so I would cross-check things with him. And getting to London for him, we were a bit nervous because he was going to have to go to the moon first, because my race wasn't until December. So my brother had to have the trust in this plan that we were using, trust in me that what I was setting in there for him would work. And he got out there and he crushed it.
Hey brother, it's me, Lewis. Hey man, I was hoping I'd catch you, but I'm sure you're probably getting ready for the race. Anyways, man, just one more time. That pace strategy, no matter what, you're going to land somewhere between 340 and 350. So just stay calm out there. Remember everything you put into this. You're more than prepared. You will hold as long as you stick to the plan. I love you, man. I'm so proud of you. You're going to do great. I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.
He made it to being able to run a 4-hour previous, PR that he had in the marathon. He had 4 hours and I think 20 minutes and some change. And he ended up getting 3:44. So that was like, wow, look at that, my brother. So here we are, October. Marco gets back. Congratulations, you did it. So we get out to California. That morning, we woke up somewhere around 3 a.m. to get ready. We had to get dropped off at the buses. It's a little bit of a long ride to the start line at CIM. So I had Sarah drop me off. For the first 13 miles, everything just felt good. I felt smooth. Everything was firing the way it needed to be. I was eating my gels when I needed to eat my gels. Sarah passed off the water bottle at the right station. So I was moving good all the way to 13 and on to mile 20, which I got my next bottle from Sarah at the 20-mile marker. So she met me there, switched off bottles. I was still feeling good, feeling strong. That was the hitting the wall point where it was like, oh wow, I made it. I made it to the brick where I might see the wheels fall off, and they didn't. So we made it to that point. We get past that point, and out of nowhere, I start to feel this little buzzing in my calf. It's like talking to me. And for a second, I stumble, and I had to regain balance. And then I was like, just keep moving, just keep moving. I don't know what it looked like. It was probably the ugliest thing on the planet, but I bounced back and forth a couple of times and then kept moving. So I literally had to push that last 6 miles with just literally everything that I ever thought about during the training block. I had to reflect on everything. I had to keep reminding myself, hey, you know, the training was harder. Hey, remember that morning where you barely were walking after the workout? You can push to the end. We finished, we coasted in. It wasn't my fastest pace, that last 6 miles, but it was a sustained pace, in difference from the bonking that I did in previous races, which helped me land on the moon at 3 hours and 40 minutes. So we did it. We made it under 4 hours. And I'm Louis Echeverry, and this is my journey.